Hi, everybody. I'm back to talk about CollectEdNY and the reviews section of CollectEdNY. Again, just to remind you of the web address at www.collectedny.org. When you go to that address, you're going to be here on the main page, and the main page is where the reviews begin. So this main page that is under the drop-down menu really just brings you back to this page. The two other components of this drop-down menu are the index of reviews and then about reviews, meaning who does them, but also how you might contribute to the growing list of reviews that are housed on CollectEdNY. Okay, so let's scroll down, and this review from January 26, 2021 is the latest review on this main page. The reason I say that is I just want to make note here of the fact that this is on the reviews page, but there's also a sidebar with recently published. That recently published could be on many different pages or places on CollectEdNY. For example, online scientific calculators, you'll notice the date for that is February 4, 2021. But it's not here as the latest review. That's because it falls under another page. So you can obviously click on that, but it won't be here in this section. Same thing with using Google reviews to develop digital literacy and argumentative writing from January 27, obviously the next day after 26, published in a different area. So this one, easy to read COVID-19 vaccine resources, is the first review on this review page. Don't forget, if you are interested in learning about all these recently published materials without having to come to the CollectEd site, get on the email list. That way you'll be alerted to new materials that are published here. So back to the reviews page. What you'll notice is that each review, which is done by a teacher or a teacher leader who has gathered resources, done some research, used something in the classroom, a free resource or set of resources or lessons, all with the hope that other New York State educators, adult educators, can use that resource that we should be sharing widely. So always starting with the title of the review here, sort of simple and straightforward, the date to just keep us in check with where it falls in the timeline of the materials. COVID-19 is rapidly changing. Things are happening all the time with the vaccine. So just good to know when this set of materials was published. And then a list of connected, areas or tags for things that are connected or related or intersect with instruction in these different areas: ABE, career kit adaptations, college and career readiness, ESOL, also reading science materials. Another component of every review is its appropriateness. Does it build teacher background knowledge, which in this case it does? Can you use it in class, or is it something just for you to be using for your own teacher knowledge? Could students use it independently for their own work at home? So all of those are built into the review. What's available, what resources are you actually presenting in this review? And in this case, there are lessons, texts, readings, hands-on activities, um, and the readiness of those lessons, texts, hands-on activities. In this case, those need to be somewhat adapted for the classroom. And as you read the review, you'll get more acquainted with how much of an adaptation it might be for the level that you're at, for the type of content area that you're teaching. Finally, the reviewer talks about the engagement level, and in this case, a very engaging set of materials to talk about the vaccine. Most reviewers try and have a picture, at least one, if not two, of the materials or something connected to the materials. I can just say in this case, of course, that this material is from a guide that, since I'm the reviewer, I found about getting your vaccine, and very visual, very a great way to be able to visually show what happens and what doesn't happen, um, both with the vaccine and with the COVID itself. So as we scroll down, we're gonna clear the drawings here. Um, the text for the review, now that you've seen a little bit about it, think, this might be interesting for me. Then you can just begin to read what this reviewer has said about the materials, be caught by easy to read. And if you want to learn more, always continue reading. There's a lot of value, we hope, on the CollectEdNY site of teacher participation, sort of collaborating with one another. So leaving a comment if you use the material, or if you know something else about the material, or if you want to add to the review, or if you just want to say thank you. All those things are welcome in the comment area. It just helps to keep this as a living place for folks to talk, quote unquote, in the virtual world about instructional materials. As you scroll down, you'll see other types of reviews, again, with that same formula of giving you an overview of it, highlighting that it's a reading skills resource, and possibly catching your eye with this levels from 1 to 16, or a content or topic area. Madam C.J. Walker, maybe you're doing something with Black history, perhaps you're doing something with technology and hybrid cars catches your eye. So all of those things might be a reason for you to want to look at a review. Science, you might be a science teacher, that might catch your eye there. TED Ed, you might love TED Talks, and so this TED Education set of videos, this reviewer has highlighted here with some areas of interest, really extracting from the site things that might be of interest to teachers in these different topic areas. And so it goes on. We finished the front page, or the home page, main page, with about 5 different, reviews the last ones published. But of course, just going to the older posts, it's going to give you a long list of other reviews. So how do you find, this just took me to this page here, April 1, 2020, as we were thinking about, counting all the folks in New York City and beyond, the census girl. Okay, so we've gone to the main page. Let's look at the index of reviews to help us think about how to sort through all these materials. Here on this page, you're going to see reviews listed by date published, just as I showed you in the list on the main page, right? And that list goes down a little bit longer. There's an ability to have more reviews on the page because they're shorter and without visuals, but it is a list, and you might remember that someone reviewed a material in April of 2020, something about the census, and as you go down and see the dates, you say, oh yeah, here it is. But that can also be laborious. So one of the reasons we have these tags is so that things can be slightly easier for you to find. Let's go to Career Kit adaptations. You're interested in using the career kits in your class, but you're just not sure what's out there. So this might be a tag that you click on because it's hyperlinked. And what you find is easy to read COVID-19 vaccine resources. That's the only thing that is listed as a connection with that. Let's try something else that might give us a broader range of things like reading. So reading's pretty broad, and if we click on that tag, you're going to see a lot of different reviews that have been published. One of the earliest reviews, a classroom news magazine for current events, and this really doesn't go get sort of outdated because the New York Times upfront is always publishing new magazines. And in 2015, when it was reviewed, this reviewer writes as her first sentence, once I began preparing for the task, New York Times Upfront became one of my main go-to sites for social studies and writing materials. So that's pretty compelling. That was in 2015 and true still today, most likely for this reviewer. So that's one way to look at the tags in the reviews so that you can go to a content area like reading, or as we said, career kits, or to ESOL. We did go to career kit adaptations, but remember the career pathway post, which is a whole other video that will be created to go and dive deeper into those posts. Probably more material is on there for connecting with career kit adaptations. The last thing I want to say about the reviews in this video is just how you can become a contributor. You'll want to read about who basically contributes. And as we say here, our hope is that by using these reviews to find materials and inspiration, teachers will improve their instruction and save time. This idea of sharing materials so that we save time is crucial and essential to our lives as teachers. But it also speaks to that collaborative nature that is really great in this teaching world. So there are sort of guidelines for how to contribute, and a little bit about the background of why this started, as well as I said with the comments, teacher participation very, very welcome through comments and writing new reviews. So as you're considering, resources, just I think the two most important things to consider, obviously read through the submission process for new reviews, but the idea that something is vetted and really has been used in a very authentic way, and also materials that are free, because we want to make them available to everyone out there and not have any sort of restrictions on the use of these materials. So I hope that you will both come to CollectEdNY to look at reviews and to look through the index and find old and newer reviews of materials that might help you with your instruction, but also really consider writing a review for CollectEdNY for that larger population of New York State educators, adult educators like you out there. All right, see you for the next CollectEdNY video.